Earlier today, for the first time, 6 stalls from a Tekka market in Little India hawked their fresh produce over a live stream on Facebook. Called Tekka Online Market, the live stream, which went on from noon until about 4 p.m, allows customers to interact with the sellers and buy the items by leaving a comment in the comment section, and the groceries will be then delivered.
Correspondent Eunice Quek tried it out. Have a look.
Well, this is the first set, $10. Anyone wants $10?
Okay, bento for no time to waste. Just say I want one. That looks great. Okay. $17. That's super good deal. But only 20 boxes. Okay. Let's go.
Okay, let me read the name out.
Amy.
Denise, Monica.
Yes!
Susan.
Yes! I got it!
Katrina, Valerie Chen, Virginia, Rosie.
I'm the second person!
My goodness, that certainly looks very stressful. Now, Eunice joins us. Eunice, tell us, what was the buying and selling process like? How was your experience?
It was very entertaining actually. As you can tell, I was genuinely really excited because the reaction that you saw just now, it was actually after I wasn't able to buy quite a couple of other produce before. So it got really exciting after a while. And really it's all about fastest fingers first. Because the sellers, as you can see, they will just put out the produce right there. Then you just talk about, they just mention the name, what it is, the weight, the price, and then you leave a comment in the comment section, and really much just hope and pray that you got what you bid for. And if you are successful, then what happens is you drop a message to them directly in private messaging, and then they will follow up. The backend side will follow up on your order.
As seamless as the process can seem, it doesn't completely replace the actual experience of shopping at the wet market. So Eunice, what kind of gaps did you experience this afternoon?
Nothing replaces going to the wet market really, because there's nothing like picking your fresh produce, speaking to the vendors directly. Here there is some form of interaction. They do reply you verbally during the live stream, but you can only speak to them with your comments. So that's one thing that I think is missing. And the other thing is that bottom line is you do not know how many people you are competing against for the produce. And at certain points there were 1,000 over viewers for the live stream, and even just a small fraction of that, that's it, you won't get your products because I think maybe because today is the first time, so they have kind of limited the amount that is available. So there were maybe 20-30 sets of, say, vegetables or fish, and then that's it, and then it's out. And some people buy more than one set, so if they buy 2, 3, if everybody does that, there's nothing left lah. And so there's a very high chance that after watching for hours, this whole thing kind of ran for almost 4 hours, right? You may not get a single item. So you have to be mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, but did you manage to get anything though?
Yes, I scored a vegetable box from Chia's Vegetable Supply, and I also got a snapper from 81 Shengyu. Yeah, and what I like about it is that I haven't got my produce yet. It's probably on the way now because it's supposed to be same-day delivery. But what I like is that without this, I would have never probably bought from them ever. I wouldn't even have known that this stall is around, because I would just go to the market that's near me. So it helps that now I have another place to go to in the future.
Right. And Eunice, wet markets are usually frequented by the older generation who may not be as tech savvy. This platform wouldn't then capture the usual wet market demographic. But in the same vein, this novel way of taking wet market shopping online may attract other groups. Would this new way reshape the wet market shopping experience for consumers, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think so because you definitely get a younger, more tech savvy crowd, and these are the people that already buy a lot of stuff online, right? And also probably the same crowd that would typically go to a supermarket maybe over a wet market. So to see what really goes on in the wet market without actually being there, there's a good taste lah of what you might get in the future. And I think this style, the auction makes it a lot more fun. Although a bit stressful, I must admit, but more fun and entertaining. I know of people who just go on live streams like this just for the entertainment value. Like they're not actually buying anything, but because some of the vendors can be really funny or they can be really entertaining, or they just want to see what is out there. And then it's like, hey, it's maybe the new way of kind of window shopping in a sense. Yeah, and on the other hand, this could also see maybe the older generation wanting to be more tech savvy as well. So say maybe I could next time maybe rope my mom in to kind of watch it together with me, and then she can decide whether she wants something. Yeah, and yeah, that could be quite fun actually.
Well, Eunice, the online experience may also be challenging for the sellers who aren't tech savvy, and language can also be a barrier, as well as the lack of face-to-face communication. So do you think these barriers of entry deter sellers from adopting this new way of business?
Yeah, I think it will take a while for them to maybe get used to it. But I think with what takeout online market is doing, when people see what is going on, the vendors, even just normal consumers, when they see what's going on, how successful it can be, then yes, I think they would be keen to adopt it. And when they see that sales actually pick up, there actually are people wanting to buy their produce, then it could work, I think, pretty well, because it helps a lot that if there's a younger generation helping with the tech stuff, right? So actually all they need to do is just sell their produce. And if that's what they have to do, they don't have to worry about administration, they don't have to worry about the tech, what's going on in the back end and all that. I think that could really help a lot and gain a lot of visibility for them as well. I think what is important is that it's not easy to talk on the live stream for hours and to also sustain the viewership. So there have been some Facebook live stream sessions that I've seen before. As the live stream goes on, the longer it goes on, the audience just whittles down, and how much that actually translates to sales as well. It's a bit kind of up in the air. But I think for a situation like this with the takeout online market, these are established vendors that you can trust, and that's really of the utmost importance. So you need to know that the quality is there. You're not going to get something very different when your delivery arrives. I'll see later how my delivery comes. Yeah, but to host it could be quite challenging, I guess, with the hosting part. So I think that's why when you have another host online together with you, the co-host, that could help, say any dead air or whatever, it helps a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Eunice. We were speaking to correspondent Eunice Kwek on wet market stalls going online to woo shoppers during the circuit breaker.